Well, I want to welcome you today to our Being Safe and Productive During the Coronavirus. My name is Ken Fanger, and I'm with On Technology Partners. And we're doing this series to try and help people learn how to use Office 365 to be more productive, address some of the concerns with how to work from home, and just try and be helpful. If there is background noise, please make sure you do mute your microphones. If you have a question, you can unmute and ask it. I try to make these as interactive as possible. So let's start with the fact that we are here because of the coronavirus. It has driven most of our companies to work from home in situations, and I think people were starting to head that way before this, but this really accelerated it. It led a lot of people who are not prepared for this type of work to suddenly have it thrust upon them. And we'll go over how Office 365 gives you the tools. So if you're already using Office 365, you may not know of some of these things that are here, but they're all part of what you get. If you're not using Office 365, we'd love to talk to you and show you how to get it and how to use it with your group. So the first thing I want to do, and this is something I've tried to warn everybody that I've done this, but I thought I would share, if I can find it here, I want to share an example of why you want to be careful what's happening around you. I found this video of somebody doing a web conference, and well, as you can see, you don't want that to be your experience. So be careful. I used to say be careful what you had on boards. If you had strategic plans, don't show them. But it's gotten to a point where people are forgetting that they're on video conference. There's another one where a woman brings the laptop into the bathroom with her and suddenly realizes that she had done it too late. So be aware your camera could be on and you could be viewable by the entire world. And like this, we are, a lot of people are recording these, making them live, and all of a sudden you find yourself displayed to the world, which you may not want to do. Okay, let's kind of talk about some of the challenges of working from home and what you're facing. On Technology Partners has been a virtual company for 28 years. We do have an office, but we very rarely go into it. Everybody on the team works from home. There's a total of 9 of us. And so we have been engaging with these tools for a long time, and it's helped us greatly because spending the time driving into the office, I have people that are up to an hour and a half away, and it doesn't make sense to pull everybody together every day. So let's first talk about some of these challenges. What are the things that you face? What are the things that cause you to have a hard time working from home? The first one is being able to share. In an office environment, when I used to work for British Petroleum, I could just walk in and get a document or work with somebody on a document right there in person. Obviously, when you're at shelter at home, you can't do that. But even after this crisis, there's going to be more working at home as people realize how productive it is. And so this will help people to realize how you can share. Also, how do you engage? You don't have that personal direct interaction. You want to keep your team engaged. This is ways to do it, and we'll talk about some of those as we keep moving forward. How do you stay focused? When you're at home, there can be a lot of things that call into your time, and staying on task, staying on target can be a challenge. We'll talk over some of the ways that I have been doing it and some of the things that have worked for me. And then, of course, staying connected. We all know about the old water cooler concept where you're able to get a group together ad hoc, have quick conversations. How do you do that when you're not allowed to physically see each other? We'll talk about how Teams let you do that type of environment, quick talks, quick chats, cross communications, and how you can use that with your teams. So as I've said, I've been doing virtual for 30 years. It's hard to believe. And so here are some of the tips that I've come up with to try and help me be as productive as possible. I've been working out of this room for a long time, and it can get tedious if you're not careful. So the first thing I tell people is try to make someplace that is your workspace. Even if it is in your house, don't just set up a table in front of the television. You want to feel like you're actually doing a work area that you're working from. It'll help divide your mind, and it actually protects you from having a situation where you never stop working. That's one of the things when I was talking with several of our clients, they're complaining about they don't seem to ever be done. And we're going to talk about that as we go forward here. Take breaks. Do not try to work 8 hours straight. You will burn yourself out. And you want to do something, step away, spend some time with the kids, stare out a window. We've put out onto our Facebook stuff to help protect your eyes during this time because people are spending more screen time. And you want to make sure that you don't hurt yourself in your eyes by doing that. So go out to our Facebook page to learn more on how to protect your eyes and yourself, but always take breaks. At least every hour, stand up, walk around, do something. Also, this was one when I first started, my children were young. They needed to know that daddy was working. They wanted, since I was home, they wanted my time and attention. And we had to make sure that we set that priority of when do I take time to spend with them and when do I work, or I would never get work done. Inversely, also, you want to make sure that you don't do a situation where you never take time for your family. So make sure you know that division. Make a plan for the day. This helps you to feel successful and productive. I use what I call the rule of 3. I have 3 things that I want to get accomplished in a day. And by doing that, at the end of the day, I'm usually successful, and success breeds success. If you have a list of 20 things and you only get 4 of them done, you're going to feel like you're not accomplishing anything. If you have a list of 3 things and you get all 3 done, even if you got more done, you're going to feel like you've been more successful. You always want to try and make ways to feel successful. Make sure you pick a time that you stop working. I usually make that about 6 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock, I stop working for the day because I'm usually up by 6 a.m. That's 12 hours. I feel that's more than enough time to work in a day. But you want to stop because right now, especially with not being able to go out, you don't change your environment as much as we normally do. You want to make sure you're setting those very strict parameters that you want to work around. And then I use things like laundry. So I'll do a load of laundry. That will usually give me about 50 minutes. So I'll see what I can get done in that 50 minutes, and then it makes a natural break. So this is a way you can use, try and think of other neat ways. And if you have some that you want to share, would love to hear them. How can you make it so that you're naturally breaking and dividing up your day? Like I said, I've been using laundry as a task setter for me for that. Okay, now we're going to get into using Microsoft Office to collaborate, share, and engage with your team. It has a bunch of wonderful tools, and I'll try and explain some of them. There is so much more than we're going to go over with here, but all of this becomes available depending on which Office 365 you get. So today, we're going to talk about file sharing and collaboration. You can use what we show immediately so that you can share files. You have co-editing. We do this a lot. So when we're working on a quote, me and the sales team will work together to make sure that our pricing is right, the messaging is right, and you can do all of this with Office 365. And then we'll talk about collaborating, how Teams works, how you can do a quick meeting, and use all of those functionalities. So the first thing we're going to talk about is OneDrive and SharePoint. OneDrive and SharePoint is your file storage, file sharing methods in Office 365. So first of all, it is easy to get to OneDrive. All you need to do is type office.com, and then you'll see all of your applications will show up. If you don't see your application, it probably means that your version of Office doesn't have it. Most versions of Office 365 do. And then all you have to do is then click on OneDrive, and I'm actually going to show you that here. So here I am. This is my actual Office 365. You can see here's my BNI, and here's my Corona work from home presentation that you're watching right now. There's OneDrive. When you click on the OneDrive, it opens up. Now, I use this to do some pretty amazing things to help protect me and protect my information. The first thing you'll do is I want you to see, here's this, and then if I go over to my actual computer, do I have it open? Yes, I do. I have the same things here. So this is, we're working with the city of Cleveland, and this is the council members' headshots. So I have it both on the cloud and on my desktop. I have it on my laptop. I have it on my tablet, and I have it on my phone. So if I need to get to a file, I can get to that file anywhere. And one of the other nice things you'll notice, this desktop. So here's my desktop. And if I click on this, here again is my desktop. So I don't know if you've ever had this, but I've had a situation where I lost my computer and the hard drive crashed or something like that. I have all of my documents saved, and I'm really bad. I do fill up my desktop with documents, but they are right there. So when I had this happen where my desktop computer died and took all of my files with it, because I was using OneDrive and had synchronized my desktop, all I had to do was get a new computer, log in, and then reattach my desktop, and all of my files came back down. So this is a great way to be able to have all of your files available wherever you are. I did that with my documents as well. Another really useful thing, and this happened to one of our clients, she was in Hawaii and she needed a document for a client, but she didn't bring her laptop with her. So she was able to get on her phone, log into OneDrive, pull up the document, which was actually on her desktop, and then she was able to send it off to the client. So instead of having a 2-week delay because she was out of state, she was able to do that immediately. So now what I want to do is I want to show you a couple of neat features that you can do. And the first one, I'm going to see if I have one that does it. I'm going to talk about recovering files. If you change them, if you edit them, it's called version history. We'll see if this one doesn't have it. I should have, let me find one that does. But what you can do is, if you're working on a document, and the biggest way I have this happen is I'll use a document as kind of a template. So when I do a proposal, I'll pull up an old proposal, but sometimes I'll forget to save it first. So I'll overwrite the proposal that I did. And then all I need to do to get that back is, again, go here to view history. And you notice I have 2 versions of this. I can go back to this version 1.0. So if I'd have overwritten that with a totally different document by accident, I can go back here and open it up and get to that document. So you can use this history to recover old documents. If you're working together, like we are working on an opportunity with AT&T, and I have my editing team putting together content. So if there's something where I made a change to some of the content they made and we realized we didn't like it, we can go back a version and recover that. So it's a great way to be able to recover documents. You can also use this to share documents. And again, all you need to do is click on the 3 ellipses. Hope that everything is open. Click on share. So you get all these different options. I'm going to go through how these different options work. So what you can do is you can just type in a person's email address. And then you can pick how that person's able to get to it. So you have several different options. If you send anyone with this link, that means that they can forward that link and anybody can read that document. You can make it only people inside your organizations, in this case, inside of On Technology Partners. Only people that already have rights to that document. So inside of a larger organization that some people might be in marketing, only the marketing people would be able to read this document. Or you can click on specific people, and then they have to have a Microsoft account associated with them. Microsoft accounts are free, but they have to log in to see it. So I'm going to put this here. Then you can also control if they're allowed to edit it. So if you just want them to see it, you can take off editing. You can also block that they're not allowed to download. You can do something that I need to make sure I do, which is set an expiration date. If you set a link available, it's a link forever until you stop it. But you could set, so let's say I only want this to go until Friday. So they have until Friday to read over this, but not download it. I'm going to apply that, and then you can send a message. You can click on send. Now, we actually use this when I do my BNIs so that every week, since we're virtual, I have them go in and put in their own slides into our BNI presentation. So this is a great way. This is now shared out. If I wanted somebody to be able to get to it, read it, review it, they can do that. So it's that simple to be able to do sharing in OneDrive Office 365. I also wanted to show you over here. So this is now back on my computer, and I wanted to show you the different states that a file can be in. And it looks like we're good. So you see here, you see two circling little icons. That means that it's currently syncing something in that document. When it is synced but still available on your computer, you'll see a little white with a green check in it. But let's say, and I have this problem, let's say I have a tablet and it only has 150 gig hard drive, but you get a terabyte of space with OneDrive. So I don't want everything from my OneDrive coming down to my hard drive. So what you can do is, if it's there, you can right click on it. You can click on free up space, and then you'll notice that it synchronized it and it moved this file off of my desk laptop onto the internet only. So I'm not wasting space by having this file, but I can get to it easily by clicking on it. So I don't want to do that because that'll run a program, but I'll do this one. I'm going to free up space. Then I can click on it and it'll bring it back down. I'm going to stop Word. We don't need to open it. Now, let's say you're getting ready to go on a trip, or you want to be able to get to certain files no matter what, even if you don't have internet access. You can right click on it and you can go to always keep on this device. Now you'll notice that green checkbox turned into a white check instead of a green circle. That means that this file will always be on my computer as well as synchronized with the cloud. So if I were to go to an airport and not have internet access, this file would be available. But let's say I turn this one and free up space. Whoops. We're just going to move all of them off site. So you can see, if you don't do what I just did, which is somehow have all of them going off site, that's a great way to make sure that you manage and keep your files either synchronized locally or available on the cloud, or both, depending on what you need. So you see now that one's moved. It's going to move all of these over to that. So that is OneDrive, and SharePoint works very similarly. And actually, I did want to show one thing on here. So here you see I have my OneDrive, but these are my SharePoint file libraries that are synchronized. And we'll talk about SharePoint as we go into Teams, but what you want to think of is OneDrive is your personal space. SharePoint is your group space. So if you worked on a network, it might be your H drive and your M drive, depending on how it's done. So H was your personal files, M was your shared files or group files. So like we have marketing. So all of our marketing materials are in here, and anybody is allowed to go and get it and work on it. And you can see all of my files I'm now starting to synchronize up to the cloud. Okay, so let's move on. to talking about, oh, and I forgot to mention, it is just as easy as clicking on that sync button. So let me go back out here and show you that quick. So in here, and one of the things that I do want to mention is when you're working with a file, this is a contextual menu. So if I unclick that, so I don't have any files selected, I get a different set of options. The one that you want to think about is this sync. If you click on that on a PC or an Apple, it'll auto sync, and we're actually going to show that when we do the SharePoint demonstration. It will automatically sync with your computer. So that is how you are able to synchronize your files. Okay. So now we're going to talk about Teams. Teams is Microsoft's collaboration package. It comes with most Office packages. I think they've just changed the name as of last week, so I don't want to tell you which ones. But Teams is wonderful. It's video conferencing, it's chat, it's team management. And then I'm also going to talk about something that we love, which is Planner, which helps you to make tasks and plans. So again, I want to start by saying you get to your Teams by typing office.com and then just clicking on Teams. And then what we're going to do, we're going to talk about how chat works, how we use chat, how you can use chat, and how it can be used kind of similar to that water cooler or just coming up and knocking on the person's cubicle. We're going to talk about the Teams environment. We're actually going to make a team. I'm going to show you how the team works, how it does file sharing, how you can do the different file sharing, and how you would collaborate through Teams. And then we're going to talk about how you can do a video conference and how you set it up, how you set it to your calendar, and how your calendar is synchronized across your Office 365 environment. So let's come over here. Here we are in our Teams. And there you go. It lets you know that you are being recorded. So the first thing I want to click on is the chat. So you'll notice this actual video conference has a chat unto itself. So if you typed in a question here, it would show up for everyone to see. Then I have these different groups that we have. So what I want to do is I'm going to make a new chat. And I'm just going to type in some of the team. And then you can actually name this chat. So it's that easy to start a chat conversation with a group of people. And with these names, you can go through and you can filter. So if I do I want to talk to my editing team, I can just type up there and it'll show me the chat groups. And the nice thing is these chats are available on your phone, your tablets, your desktop, and your laptops so that you can keep engaged and connected very quickly. If there's a quick question somebody has, you just type it out and it sends it out to the group that you built. So this is a great way to keep everybody engaged, interacting, and it's much better in many ways than like email, because I know I have well over 100 emails every day, so I may not see it, but with the chats, I'll see it right away. So if you want to get to me, it's faster to go this way than it is to try and use email. I do get through all of my emails, but it could be a day or two later. So that's the power of chat. Now we're going to talk about the power of Teams. So here is a previous last week's Wednesday's group that we made. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get rid of a team, and then I'm going to tell you to be very careful. So we are going to get rid of this team. And all you have to do, everything comes from these wonderful ellipses. So we are going to just delete this team. I understand that everything will be deleted. This is an important thing to remember. We do have packages that will let you back up all of your Office 365, including your Teams environment. But if you don't have that and you click on this and then you delete it, everything related to that team is now gone. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a new team. So you come down here where it says join or create a team, and we're going to click on create team. Now, if you had public teams, which we'll talk about, you could join it here. If you had a private team, you'd need a code, you could join it there, but we're going to create a brand new one. So we are going to build a team from scratch. So you get three different options. You get private, and that means only people that you invite from your company are going to be on this team. You can have public, which means that it is open to anyone. You saw that join a team. This is a public team. Or organization-wide, which takes everybody in your organization, your Office 365 organization, and puts it into it. So our OnTech Partners is an organization-wide team. But we're going to build a private team first. So we're going to build our Wednesday team right here. And then you can put the description. And then you click on create. So you have just created this team. Now you can start adding members. So I'm going to add Lucy. Michael. So when members get added, they'll get added as members, but you can create them into owners. The difference between a member and an owner is a member is able to work on documents, chat to people, but they cannot delete it. They cannot change who's a member. Only an owner can do that. So think of owners as being allowed to decide who's allowed to come in. Members are allowed to work in there. So it's kind of like a committee where you have your committee head and then your committee members. So now what this just did was it sent out an email to everybody that I had said and told them that they now are part of this team. So they know how to get to the team. It'll show up under their teams right here, and it'll give them the ability to work within files. They can have chats, they can send messages. So if I start talking here, you see it's recording everything that's happening. It just sent that out. If I come up here to chat, nope, she's still on it. And you can see that even under activities. So it comes with this built-in chat session. It also, and this is really nice and functional, creates a SharePoint library for you. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to synchronize this library so you can see how the synchronization works. So I want to go over here. And pick the right one. So you notice these are all of my on-technology partner sites. I don't have that Wednesday site. So now we're going to come back over to Teams. Too many things here. Come back. There we go. And now here's that sync button that I told you about. We're going to click on sync, and you're going to see how easy it is to synchronize a SharePoint library. So now, if I come back over to here, there it is. Wednesday Fun Day General. This now is synchronized with my team. So it might take a few minutes because I had accidentally removed all of my desktop items, which doesn't hurt anything, just save some room. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to here, and I am going to find a a picture. So I'm going to grab, we talked about the eye strain. So I'm going to grab this eye strain. And what I want to do is, so you see there are no files in here. So you grab this eye strain and we're going to drag it and copy it in here. You see it's uploading. So now that has been put up for everybody in the group to see. And then this might take a few minutes. Oh, no, it went really fast. So here, that document, and you notice it was in the cloud, then it came down, shows up as a document on my computer, but also in the cloud. So anybody on my team that I had given rights to this group could synchronize this library and we could work together on documents. And you'll notice, I'm going to try and do this the other way. So I am going to copy this document. And I'm going to come up here. And I'm going to paste it. And you notice it's synchronizing. So it'll take a few seconds, but you'll see that it'll pop up here. So while that's happening, I want to go back here and I will show you. You can use wikis to do long conversation. We don't actually use this very much, but it is there. But what I do want to show you, and what we found very helpful, is you can click on this add button and you can add other features. And the one that we have really liked is this planner. And I was actually asked to add this to the presentation after we showed it off on one of them. So this is our Wednesday planning. So we're going to click on Save. So we created a planner. A planner is a way to organize your projects and also to assign people to them. So you can have a to-do list. We'll do this. We're going to call this Setup Wednesday Presentation. You can have a whole series of projects. And then we're going to add a task. And you can set a due date. So let's say we want to have it for the 11th, and then you can assign people to it. And you can add the task. Then once you've done that, you can go in here. You can mark that it is in progress or it's completed. You can set its priority. You can set a start date. So maybe I want to start it on the 7th and have it finished by the 11th. I can put in some notes. And you can also add a checklist. So the nice thing is you can do this, you can show it on the card, and then you see it shows up right here. And the nice thing about this is it'll send out email reminders to help keep you on track with the tasks that you're doing. So you can set up a set of tasks and see where people are. Have they worked on it? You can come in here and you can add notes. You can add comments. And then it will mark the comments with the date and time that you did them. So it's a great way to be able to manage your projects for your team. Okay, are there any questions before we move on to doing an actual meeting presentation in a video conference? Go here. And we'll talk about the meeting chat. Okay. So now let's go over to calendar. The first thing I want to show you, these chairs get uncomfortable during the day. First thing I want to show you is that your calendar in Teams is also your calendar in Outlook. So as long as you're using all of Office 365, everything is synchronized. So you notice we have our company meeting. So it's all synchronized. If I make something here, you'll see that it'll show up here. In fact, let's talk about that and do that. So first of all, I want to talk about how you make a meeting. So there are two different meeting schedules you can make. You can schedule a standard meeting, which allows 250 participants, or you can do a live event, which can have up to 10,000 attendees. They're not participants. They can't talk. They don't get video or audio. They can hear video, audio. They can't do video and audio. And you do need to have an E1 or higher license to do that. But if you are doing very large venues, you can use it to do a very large venue. But what we're going to do is we're going to schedule a meeting. So the thing. So we're going to do this Wednesday thing. I'm going to make Lucy have to join me because she always loves to join me. I'm going to make it for Friday at 2 p.m. You can actually add one of your groups if you want to have a group meeting. It's that easy to do. And then what you'll notice is when I click on send, if I come over here, so here's that Wednesday meeting, it automatically puts in the Teams meeting link. And then what I also want to show you is if I come back over to my calendar, it automatically shows up on my calendar. And again, right in the Teams meeting is the link. So I could share this link out and have other people come and join the meeting. You do have to set that in a setting on the Teams management, which we can help anyone that needs to do that, but it's that easy to set up a meeting. And you can just click on it, or you can go in and just click on this to join it. So that's how you set a meeting. And you can also do this meet now if you want to try and get somebody to do a meeting very quickly. So if you need to get just with one person, this is what I call the water cooler type thing, or the knock on your door. And you can do this with your phone, with your tablet, with your desktop, laptop. You just click on Meet Now. I can't do it because one thing I learned, unfortunately, in one of our first presentations was if I click on Meet Now, it stops this meeting and starts another one, so nobody can actually see me at that point. So what we're going to do is we're going to say you clicked on Meet Now, and we're going to go into the actual meeting. And so there's a few things that I want to show you in here. What you can do when you do the Meet Now is you can type somebody in here from your group, and now if I click on her, it will actually ring her cell phone because we're using Microsoft Voice. It'll send a notice to her computer that I want to do a meeting with her. So I'm not going to do that because I don't want to bother her, but that's all it takes to invite people to a meeting. Now let's talk about how you actually interact in a meeting. You notice right now we have 4 different displays. I think in 2 weeks, they're going to let you have up to 9 displays. So you'll be able to have this group view as you go forward. If you want, you can see again 3 ellipses. If I wanted to make it so that Lucy is always on display, I can click on pin and then she stays there so that if you wanted one person to be central, they could always be central. And then you can click on the little pin to remove them. Then down below is your actual control bar. It lets you turn on and off your camera, turn on and off your microphone. It lets you share or stop sharing. And then you have this ellipses, which gives you more actions. We'll come back to that in a minute. You can come over here to conversation. So you notice there is, whoops, come back conversation. There it is. So here are the different chat conversations. and this is the attendees. So if you are running it, hopefully I don't cancel it, you can mute all from right here. So this is a quick way to silence everyone. We have had team meetings where one team member unfortunately had a lot of background noise. We used that because we weren't sure which one it was, and that quieted everyone, and then each person released themselves as they were talking. Then what I want to talk about is the 3 ellipses and some of the neat features that they've just added only 2 weeks ago for one of these things. So you can come up here, you can change your devices. If there's meeting notes, you can see them. But this is one of the fun ones that I've been showing off to everybody. Originally, all you could do, I need to minimize this, was click on blur background. So I'm going to apply that. You notice that my background is now blurry. So that was really helpful if you were in a situation like that one I showed you in the video earlier of that person. By doing this, you can get rid of background items. So if you do have your master plan for taking over the world and you don't want anybody else to see it, this is a really fast way to blur it out. But they have added these neat additional features. So I'm going to make myself have a house upgrade here. So now my house is upgraded, and you can kind of tell, but it looks pretty good. Here we go. We can be outside. I know we all want to be outside right now. So now I'm outside doing these presentations. You can also put other pictures into here. I really want to go out to space. So you can change your backgrounds very easily. And then I'm going to go back to just my boring little room. And you do that by going ellipses, hide background effect, or ellipses, show background effect. You can use this live caption. It is trying to use, I can't remember, Cortana, I think, is Microsoft's voice recognition, but it will try and translate in real time what's being said. So if you do have to meet American with Disabilities Acts or something like that, you can use this to do that. There's also recording. This will record to Microsoft Streams. So I know like Zoom requires you to save the recording on your computer. This will not make you do that. You can then make it live from Microsoft Streams, but it gives you a great way to share these functionalities. And like we will take this at the end of it and we're going to send it out to everybody so that they can have a copy of this training session. So the other thing that is important, unfortunately, now is you can go in and you can remove a participant. Because Michael is the organizer, I can't remove him. But if somebody was being disruptive, we've heard of Zoom bombing, where somebody comes in. If they do get in, you can click on remove participant to kick them out. You can also moving them to an attendee that's at 10,000 license. You can also mute them. So you can interact with them right there if you have to with people that shouldn't be doing something they are doing or something like that. Any questions that anybody has on how to use the Teams video conferencing? Let me actually go back here to the chat and say somebody wants to type in the chat. Okay. Let's actually go back here. I just want to see one thing. I wanted to show you, you can see how they now synchronize. They've come across from my laptop to SharePoint and back down again. So let's go back here. Okay, so Microsoft is giving a 30-day free trial for anybody that's interested. They also have a Teams free service, but that is a very limited Teams. So I've actually recommended, unless you're just going to talk with your group on that, join meetings now, because it doesn't include calendaring or any other features. including SharePoint, it's very limited. But if you would like it, we can set it up and you get it for 6 months for free. We are doing these every other Wednesday. The next one will be May 20th. So you have anybody else that would like to join and learn about Teams, we'd love to have them. You can just go on to our website and register. And if you want to come through this again, that's great. We're also offering to nonprofits ways to save money with Office 365. It is actually, there are certain products that are free and they include the Teams video conferencing. So if you know any nonprofits or if you're a nonprofit, you can come and learn how to register and how to use Microsoft in a free environment. If you need some personal private training, we can work with your group to review exactly the type of training you need and work with you to get your team up to speed. We also offer a secure VPN, our smart VPN solution, which can help you get connectivity to your office if you don't have it today. And I want to take a few minutes and mention right now, especially, do something fun. Have fun, break away from working. We've actually done a little Dino Bunny that travels around. You can go to our facebook.com on Technology Partners and see Dino Bunny. We're also working with a group of nonprofits. We're going to try and actually put some fun challenges. One is going to be building pillow forts to try and give reasons to do something else, engage, and be connected during this time. So please remember, have fun. Well, that is the end of the presentation.